This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday night. That means it can only be one thing. The final word on the weekend's action. Already nearly 80 of you watching, waiting. Sorry we're slightly late starting. We're just having a bit of a chat backstage. We're going to have a bit of a group chat today, all in one hit. We're going to have a great show ahead of you. We're going to be talking, of course, regarding the Arsenal game. Of course, the squad depth that Wolves have got, a 15-year-old on the bench, and surprisingly a good performance, I'm guessing, in the circumstances. We'll be just reflecting a little bit on the FA Cup from today. We've got the Nottingham Forest statement. We've got Fabio Silva diving. We're going to be taking your Q's and A's. We're going to be doing our performance rating, man of the match, and, of course, moments or highlights today. A lot of laughs in between. And if you wait for it, we're going to be giving you our favourite groups, bands of all time. I'm going to be asking everyone to recommend any great music off the basis that I went with the producer this week to see at the Halls, the Kaiser Chiefs, something she'd always wanted to go, always wanted to go. It was absolutely brilliant. So we thought, why not have a music-flavoured discussion as well to keep you guys entertained. So we have got Manny is going to be coming on, but in video form because he's obviously cream crackered. He's done his marathon, but we have got some words from him. And I want you guys in the chat to see whether you can notice a bit of a theme that's going on to wherever. Taking myself. There you go. Somehow I took myself off. I'm chatting away, talking away there, and I've took myself off the screen. So apologies for that. I was just about to say that we've got a bit of a theme going on as well today, which hopefully you guys can spot when everyone comes onto the channel. I think I took myself off the screen for a bit there, so that wasn't very good, was it? I was saying we're going to be talking about the game from the weekend, the FA Cup today. Nottingham Forest have made an interesting statement. Fabio Silva diving. We're going to be giving you our thoughts on music as I went to the Kaiser Chiefs this week, which was fantastic at the Halls, and lots more and lots of laughs in between. But we're also going to be hearing from Manny as well after he's done the marathon. So I hope I've got all that out. We have got joining us tonight the Queen of the Watch Along. It is captivating Chelsea. How you doing, mate?
Hello, Dave. You okay? Hello, everybody.
Fantastic. Chelsea, you're absolutely taking the watch along to another level. The graphics and everything, way better than me. All I can say. Everyone loves you, mate. You enjoying doing it?
They're really good fun. I think the more and more you do them, the more easy they become. And I have to say in the comment section as well, it's lovely to have the same people always watching. We say Sarah's on here now, Rebecca, Carl, Trudy, Lucas, Daniel. You see them all the time, and it's really lovely to have them with me because I feel like I'm not alone when I'm watching them. And I think we've all kind of enjoyed the pain and stress together over these watch-alongs. And we've been really unfortunate to start in a time where Wolves lost some of their key players and had a tough road. But like I say, if you can make a watch-along fun when we're not winning, it can only go better from there.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely nailing it. And, of course, you'll be back for the game against Bournemouth in the week against the Cherries, who we come up, obviously, on Wednesday. They valiantly took the lead against Villa, but have ended up being a 3-1 win. And it's quite an important game. And we will look ahead to Bournemouth as well. We also have the Lord himself, Lord Jason. He's actually a proper Lord. If you don't know, he is actually a Lord.
Yeah, someone bought it me for 35 quid, Dave. And every time I get into a row on Twitter, first thing that gets brought up, you call yourself a Lord. So, I don't
but
mind.
you have
Good
called
banter.
yourself a Lord. But fair play to you, mate. If you've got the title, use it.
Exactly.
That's what I say.
I used it once to get into a restaurant. I swear to you, there was no tables. and I dropped it in, and all of a sudden I did get a table, and that's the God's honest truth. But I haven't used it for a flight yet or anything. So yeah.
Absolutely right. I'm loving it. Well, Jason, we're going to be describing everyone in a second. And we've also got young Lucas that's joining us tonight. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, Dave. You?
Now, Lucas, you have some amazingly fabulous news to share. Apart from being a Wolves ball boy, and obviously at the end of the game, you came across our stand and waved across. So you might have another bit of interesting insight on the game. But you have some news because you're a footballer yourself. You play for who?
Brood Colts.
And you had a semi-final.
And we won 5-2. So now we're in the final.
You're into the final on the
2nd of
May. Yeah. So well done to
well
Lucas.
Done. Well done, Lucas.
I'm hoping to get down to that game as well to support, which is great. We have now coming on the voice of reason himself. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah, not too bad. How are we all?
I'm good. I'm in the circumstances.
Happier than you by the look of it, Jack.
What's that, sorry?
I said happier than you by the look of it.
Oh, yeah. It is what it is, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we have Smiler coming on.
Oh.
George Talks Wolves, Mr. Smiler himself, back by popular demand from a couple of weeks ago.
You put me in penultimately, so I hope I live up to the light entrance. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, we've got the light on the one with you on the one, and now we have to have the dark. And well, that's cheerful, Chris. So we've got the light and the shot. So listen, we are tonight in seventh heaven. We are 7 up. There are 7 of us live on the screen, so we thought we'd do a mass one today. And don't forget, if you do want to get involved in the chat, of course you can by just messaging the Always Wolves pages, just like what George did, and he's got himself on and made his debut. I do want to say, of course, though, a massive big thank you to the company that powers Extra Time. And that's Creation Wolf. They deliver the industry's and latest, most advanced digital solutions. If you've got a company, you should talk to them because they are absolutely fantastic. Trust me, they are the best at what they do. They take your digital and online capability to the next level. The link's in the description below, creationwolf.com. We're very, very grateful for the support and love that they give us here on the channel. So we've got over 200 of you watching. In the chat, can you see a theme that's going on tonight? Can any of you see a theme? Obviously, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you won't be able to see it. But I'm going to just go across. Chelsea, what are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing my new Wolves top, actually, just because I like it so much.
Yeah, the blue one.
Yeah, I really like the design. We got really excited. I bought it when we were doing really well. I got really excited when I bought it. So it feels good look.
Absolutely. We've got shirts coming up here. We're all wearing Wolves tops. That's correct. Shirts through the years. There is a reason for this. So if you can figure out what it might be. Lord Jason, what shirt have you got for the ones that aren't watching it live? And what year is it? Jason's wearing a dark number tonight.
I'm back on.
Yeah.
I heard you talking about me.
I was saying, can you describe what you're wearing?
Yes, I think it's the 92-93 shirt. Goodyear, obviously the replica one. Goodyear one booked out. I really liked this shirt growing up. I thought it was a really nice design at the time. And it was, I just remember you go into the club shop now and it's quite different because you get the shirts off the rails. Back then, there was all in cellophane wrappers. And it was just so exciting to get home and just get it out the cellophane wrapper. How boring am I?
Mate, things like that.
Now, how old am I? My God. But I don't know if anyone else remembers, getting them out the cellophane wrappers was brilliant. But it's all different now.
Lucas, describe yours. I know what yours is. It's the first year on Adidas, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Raul Jimenez match worn against Man United in the FA Cup.
Absolutely. And that's one of your favourite shirts.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite because he scored the goal in it to send us to Wembley. So it's a big shirt for me.
Love
Brilliant.
it. Jack, yours?
So I'm wearing this year's shirt. I'm cheating a little bit, all about the present. But I did find earlier on, it's not great radio and podcasting this, but I did find my very favourite Wolves shirt from when I was 10 years old. So 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
It's a really dark, sort of almost like a browny gold colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was when we had Ludo Polle, George and Dar, Michael Branch, who Jason did a great podcast with recently. So it's kind of that era of Wolves as well. So I've had a few Guinness and Balti Pie since then. So it doesn't quite fit anymore. But yeah, I thought I'd dig it out just for the occasion.
Fantastic, mate. It's kind of a rusty kind of gold. Isn't
Yeah.
it? It's been left out in the sun a bit.
A little bit, yeah. A bit like us all, yeah.
Or put in some acid or something like that and rusted over. And we've got George. What you got on, mate?
So, what game does everyone think of when I whip this shirt out? What game's everyone thinking of? Quite a famous game, local derby.
Villa.
As you can see.
Number 8.
Hold on. I can't see.
Neves.
Yeah.
Mate.
So essentially, that's my favourite game ever. So I thought,
well, I remember doing the vlog on that and going and saying, if you've ever watched it back, imagine it this goes in, imagine it this goes in, and then it's a bit like that commentary where they go, there's some people on the pitch, they think it's all over, and then the ball goes in, it comes off target. Everyone loses the ball, and we're like, where's it going? And then it just bounces over the line, and everyone just freezes for a second. And then goes ballistic.
I think the start of that season, Villa just saw Grealish, I think, and they'd spent a load of money on reinforcements. We'd obviously, it was like do you remember the sell to buy? We can only sell to buy that season. And I think, going into that season, I remember saying to my dad, like, Villa are going to be so much better than us. And then I think that game actually turned our season around,
It did. It was absolutely fantastic. Only 3 times in Premier League history has a team been losing 2-0 going into the 82nd minute, won. And that was the 3rd time. I've got this one that's now available in the Wolves retro range, if you can see it. If I'll just move across. It's the white with the teal trim. I'm not quite sure on the year. Jason will probably know, or someone will probably know. But I've always loved this. I thought, if they get this in the club shop, I'm getting it. And I've got it.
I think it was 95, 96 days. I think
that's right. I think you're probably right. Now, look, the reason that we were all wearing this, I had an email. Basically, they reached out on behalf of Cancer Research UK and the Bobby Moore Fund, because they've got their annual Football Cert Friday campaign coming back on Friday, the 26th of April. And they've asked if we were willing to take a part in the campaign, supporting it on our channels. It said in the last 31 years, the fund has incredibly raised over 30 million for bowel cancer research. Those of you that watch the channel regularly will know that my friend who sat next to me for 20 odd years, we got to become friends because he sat next to us at Molineux, Bill, aka Sean Connery is his nickname. He died suddenly from very, very quickly from bowel cancer. And he says, whilst great progress has been made, 45 people still die as a result of bowel cancer every day in the UK. So they need support and help to beat the disease. And it goes on to say, we'd be honoured if you call on Always Wolves to help us spread the word and encourage the public to sign up and participate in Football Shirt Friday and donate towards life-saving research. They've got lots of famous faces involved this year: Harry Kane, Dave Seaman, Izzy Christensen, Maisie Adams, supporting the campaign. And so I've asked everyone tonight to wear their favourite football shirt that they've got. And the information, there it is, for the cancer research is up there for you, and we will put it up in the link at the moment, but you can see what it's all about, how to take part, sign up, get your free fundraising materials, wear your football shirt with colleagues, friends, or go it alone. You can share your photo on social media on Friday, donate to tackle cancer, makes a difference. And, you know, it's on Friday and the campaign has started now. So we're just helping to raise a little bit of awareness for that. And yeah, that's why everyone's done that. And I will just post the link to that, because we do talk about the games and everything like that. But on the channel, we really do try to support as many good causes as we can. And there you can find it there. If you go on to www.cancerresearchuk.org, get involved, Bobby Moore Fund, football shirt Friday, you can get involved on that. So, you know, we'll all try and wear our football shirts as well, I'm sure, on Friday if we can, and post a few pictures on socials as well for that. So yeah, thanks for them for asking, and it is a really, really good cause. If you can help or get involved, please do so. So we're going to start with
Dave. You want to know about my shirt, Dave?
I was going to say, you missed out cheerful.
You know what, Chris? I'm so sorry.
This is a match worn shirt, a bit like Lucas's. 88-89 season. This shirt was worn by a certain person who signed the front. I don't think you can pick it up, but he scored a hat trick that day. 26th of November, 6-0 against Preston.
It's got to be Bully, isn't it?
See number 9 on the back, probably.
Bully,
duck down a bit, but yeah.
But I can't believe it, asked me, because this is tight as hell for me to wear, Dave. I've lost 3 stone.
My internet.
So yeah, that's my match worn shirt. Obviously,
mate, sorry, I missed you off there, pal. I just jumped ahead of myself. To be honest, that is an absolute classic shirt as well, and you know, you are able to get into it. So that's
about. Good. It's touching the size, like, but yeah,
absolutely. Meanwhile, back at Jason's ranch, he's having a fight with the old internet.
I've got Manny's internet, and I.
Well, he has. He's lent it to you, isn't he? Listen, Jason. Let's start with you. You know,
thank you. Before I cut out.
Before you cut out. Let's start with you, mate. We're looking ahead, looking back at Arsenal Wolves. What's the things that stand out for you on that game?
I think for me, what was quite refreshing, we went into that game with absolutely, it felt like almost no pressure, because we'd all wrote ourselves off before we'd even started, hadn't we? And, you know, we're all saying, oh, it's going to be a cricket score, we're going to lose, we've only got these, you know, we was all taking the mick on what a young team it was. And although it wasn't a massively weakened team, if you look at it, I mean, the bench was pretty depleted, but it was certainly a weakened team. We were playing a very good Arsenal team who were challenging for the title. And by all accounts, we played well yesterday, Dave. I thought we did. I thought we give a really, really good account of ourselves, especially when we'd put ourselves, we'd all wrote ourselves off before the game, before it even kicked off. And to take it really to the stroke of half time before they scored, I think was full credit to us. And I think there was some good individual performances. I don't think it was the most, obviously, fluid game of football we've seen at the Molineux. But equally, it wasn't an awful performance, and it wasn't the performance we was all expecting. Their goal as well, I think we could have done a little bit better.
He got kind of pushed off the ball. He
did. I mean, he put himself really in a not a great position. But it could have gone two ways, really, because a couple of people have said, was it a foul on Doherty? But then when you see Doherty all him over, it could have been a foul the other end. And then the lad pokes it in, doesn't he? He doesn't get the cleanest of connections. It's in off the post. So it's quite unlucky to go in a goal down at half time. And once again, we come out second half. Oh, the Gomez chance. I thought, I've watched that back, Dave. He creates that chance himself. The fullback makes a bit of an error, really. But Gomez doesn't stop. And when you look back, there is two players, and I thought he could have squared it back, but they're not in great positions. They're marked. There's people in front of them. It could have gone anywhere. So I think he made the right choice in shooting, and then it gets parried against the post. But that would have
To be honest,
obviously...
the keeper literally, he hit it that well. It was just a fingertip, and it could have gone anywhere. But their goal hits the post and goes in. Our goal hits the post and comes out, and it's fine. Fine lines. If we'd have gone in 1-0, that would have really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But
and obviously,
that's how it's going for us at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and we still had some Armory on the bench, didn't we? We still had Sarabia. We had Ait Nouri. So we could have made a couple of changes, and we did in the second half. But I think we was a bit more under pressure second half. Especially towards the end as the game was dragging on. They did look like they was going to score again. And as well as Sarr had actually played, he made some unbelievable saves. And this is what I don't get about Jose Sarr. There was the one when it come over the middle, the player turned on it, hit it first time, and Sarr made a really good instinctive save. And then he lets one in like that at the near post. And you think, I don't understand it sometimes, that inconsistency. Because other than that...
He made one or two blinding saves, especially towards the end of the game as well. And then... He's got that in him, and but Sarr gets a lot of stick for me. And we're going to let's get some opinion on everyone else on Sarr. But I think Emma will come up with a stat. His stats are actually really, really good.
I'm not thinking him out, Dave, by the way.
Goals.
Yeah, go on, George.
He's got the most prevented goals in the league, like more than Onana, and you consider all the shots United concede. He's got more than Onana. I think he's got more than the Luton keeper. So in one sense, he's great. If you look at his distribution, not great. But you could argue, do we actually play that way? Are we best off having a pure shot stopper?
Yeah, it was apparent to me yesterday, George. We'll obviously take on your thoughts now. Wolves continued to play out from the back and try and break the press and move it around, and they're constantly playing in it. And when you're doing that, there's a chance of a mistake happening. And I know some people get a little bit frustrated, but the thing that struck me that they were playing that they kept composed and they kept calm. They wasn't lumping it out and just having it come back. They were trying to play football, and even though with a weakened team, I'll take that as a positive. George, what's your thought?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to say is I thought they did really well considering we did not have a striker on the pitch at all. I know we didn't have much to choose from, but he did have Holman and Fletcher on the bench. He could have given them a go. He obviously decided to keep it tight. Excuse me. Keep the passing fluid, not give away the ball. I was a bit worried about Sherrera, if that's how you say his name. I know there's been a bit of a debate on Twitter about how to pronounce his name, but anyway.
Sherrera.
Yeah. Well, we'll just call him Tawanda. Because that's what I call him. That's his first name. Anyway, he kept the ball really well. Nothing was sloppy, and if you look at the goals Arsenal scored, the first goal was he just spooned it. The second goal, end of the game, it was a Sarr mistake, but I think it was really solid. And if you look at the actual team that he did put out, it wasn't a bad side. It was just where are the goals coming from? That's the one.
Well, yeah, he decided to start with Wang, who did his best. Obviously, he's not fully fit, so he's got about 50 minutes.
The players who could get you a goal, like Sarabia, Ait Nouri, Wang. They're not 100% versions of themselves. They're just coming back from an injury. So it's all right having Wang for 45 minutes, but we know what Wang can be like when he's not firing on all cylinders.
Exactly. And missing Cunha was a big loss. Jack, Sherrera, or you all know how to say it properly?
Sherrera.
Jack, you're someone that obviously goes and sees a lot of the under-21 games. You've spoke about him before. You've been quite impressed. I was really impressed with him yesterday. He did everything. He did all the basics really, really well. Thought his control was really good. Well, I thought he made sure that he didn't make any massive errors. He didn't seem overawed either. And out of all of the academy players that I think, Jason, you might have mentioned this on your socials as well. Out of all the academy players that we've seen, he's one that probably you look at and think, you know what, he could potentially be part of the squad for next year. What's your take?
Yeah, no, I think if it was me, if I was Matt Hobbs or whoever and I was in charge, I would be looking to loan him out next year to go and play some senior football. But if we're going to go with a smallish squad and you need people like to wander in and around it, no issues at all. I think he steps up really well. I think he's the kind of player, when I watch him in the under-21s, he likes to be the star man, the centre of attention. He likes to be on the ball a lot. He likes to be where he knows he can get involved in the game. He doesn't go and hide for 20 minutes when we're under the cosh. He goes and says, I'll have the ball, I'll take it on the half turn and I'll get us up the pitch. Again, not his natural position to be playing right up against centre halves, and certainly not against people like Gabriel and Saliba. I mean, that's a baptism of fire if ever there was one, isn't there? But I thought he acquitted himself really well. I thought he was brave on the ball. There was one where he sort of took it on the half turn again and played a brilliant sort of crossfield ball to Doherty, which, he could easily have just played a little layoff, couldn't he? But he thought, no, I'll try and get us up the pitch and try and get us attacking. So, yeah, I mean, the great thing is, just to kind of make the point, I think if you were to ask Gary O'Neill for his best 11 across the season, you've probably got 4 of them starting yesterday. So you're kind of 7 men down from what you'd be your ideal team to play Arsenal. So it is a bit of a scratch team and a bit of a, put together at the kind of last minute. But I thought we acquitted ourselves really well. And I think you're looking at Chukwueze as kind of an example of someone who perhaps wasn't expecting an opportunity to start a Premier League game this season, having just joined in sort of August from Ipswich. But he's certainly taken his opportunity. And like you've said, if he was in and around the squad next year, I don't think anyone would be necessarily concerned about him having to put minutes in on the pitch.
Jason, we'll come back to you because I know you've got a thought on him as well from, I think, what you said on your social. But I'm going to go to Chelsea, then Lucas, then Chris. Chelsea, your thoughts on the game. I mean, I think you were quite positive overall. At the weekend, in the game, you had a really nice cupcake at half time as well, didn't you?
Yeah, a lovely cupcake to celebrate the dog's birthday. Turning
I know, it was Milo's first birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I think for the game, because our expectations were so low, and even in the comment section when asking about predictions, people were saying 4-1, 4-0, we're going to get thrashed. My hope was looking at the forwards, even though Wang Ki-chan was back, he wasn't fully fit. He didn't have the players around him to support him, such as Sarabia, Neto, Cunha. So to expect that we could play the way we normally would was unreasonable. So how we kind of played in the first half, despite Arsenal having the majority of the possession, I don't think Arsenal really, until the last 10 minutes, had any clear-cut chances. And the Trossard goal was, you could say, a little bit of luck. The Wolves players should have closed him down a little bit better, but he hit the right-hand corner and went in. And I think, sadly for Wolves, I do think their distribution from Sarr to the defence is a problem, because every watch-along I've done, every time we keep saying, it's going back to Totti, it's going back to Gomez, it's going back to Sarr. The more I say that, the more I get anxious, because I know they're going to make a mistake in defence. It's happened against Newcastle, it happened against Coventry, it's happened against West Ham, it's happened again. And I do rate Sarr as a goal stopper. I think he's done really well. He had 7 saves yesterday. He shouldn't have been beaten on the right-hand side. He should have done better. But I think for distribution, if Wolves want to be a team that plays out from the back, Sarr is good enough for now. But if you want a goalkeeper who can do that, then they need to look somewhere else. Because I don't think Kilman, Totti and Santiago Bueno are confident with his distribution of the ball. And sadly, we're actually more scared to watch him kick the ball out because he keeps going out for a throw-in. So sometimes we don't know what his best distribution is. And I do think it causes a lot of pressure. But overall, I do think the Wolves players can be very proud of themselves. We didn't have our top squad. We couldn't defend from the front. I always say, without Neto, without Cunha, that pressure, piled on the pressure, going towards the Arsenal defence, it helps our defence as well. And the fact that they didn't have that meant our midfield, our defence was more under pressure than it normally would be. I think Wolves just need to get through the rest of this season, do the best they can with the squad they've got left, and hopefully the club will give Gary O'Neill the tools he needs to push this team forward. Because we've seen again, our small squad is what's costing us. And everyone's saying in the comment section of, we need to reinvest. And I think hopefully the Wolves ownership will learn from that and we can build on for next season. And yeah, That's what I think.
Mate, Chelsea, as always, some great points. I can see Jack and Jason nodding along there, and we'll come back to you guys on some of the points that have been raised there as well, because especially on Saar, because I could see that you were nodding on that. Lucas, you know, you have a really different perspective of the game than anyone else. Were you still in the corner by the South Bank?
Yeah, that's why I think
Did the
that's
ball come to you this week?
Yeah, to roll it back to Saar. Yeah.
You did, because like the last couple of weeks, you've been sitting there just watching the ball's not come over to you, so you did get to touch it yesterday. So yeah, what was your perspective? I mean, you'd have had a great angle on the Trossard goal, wouldn't you?
I didn't really, because the defenders were a bit in the way, but I did see a bit of pushing from Doherty and Trossard. But in my opinion, I heard when I went back to the room that Trossard was apparently offside with his first touch. I haven't watched the game back properly to see if it was, but that's what the Wolves bench was apparently arguing with the fourth official with, as well as a big talking point that it was. But it was a bit, I think if they gave a foul for Doherty, I think they would have to give Doherty a punishment for grabbing Trossard, because I saw Trossard pulling him and pushing him, and I saw Doherty just like bend, like lean over him to try and win the ball. But I do like Saar as well, but I think he's a bit dangerous at times. Like he just runs out with when it's a 3-on-2 for the opposition with the 2 on Wolves defenders, and he just comes running out. So all it takes is one over the top ball. But I think if we have some solid defenders that we can get in the summer, we'll be good with distribution, because it'll be secure and safe if you pass it out.
Great points. Chris, you've been waiting really, really patiently. I'm really interested. You've listened to what everyone's had to say. I'm really interested to see and hear your take on your opinion on where we're at and the game yesterday.
Well, just on Saar, if you increase the amount of time he has on the ball and the amount of possession he has, the more likely he's going to make a blunder. And as we have a back four that don't seem to be able to take command of the ball and play it forward and just pussyfoot with it back with each other and play the ball back to them, we're creating the opportunity for something bad to happen. And we just seem to do it more and more. So I don't have a problem with Saar. I think he's a great keeper. I just think it's an easy target to blame. You've got a captain there that don't take ownership of the ball. He was a little bit better yesterday, I thought, but we've got to keep the ball away from him some time of the game, and it just I watched just take the ball left, right, back to the keeper, left, right. The one time I think Kilman and Saar passed the ball to themselves 4 times in a row. It went from Saar to Kilman, Kilman to Saar, Saar to Kilman, Kilman to Saar. It was just. It's just too stagnant and static for my liking. With regard to the game, I thought it was a good performance, really, considering the side we've got, what we've got left. It's clear that we are just massively fatigued. I've got some issues with the manager's selection. I think I just don't know what he's doing with why we brought Wang off after 49 minutes or whatever it was, and we didn't change him at half time. I just don't understand the sense in that.
To be honest, Chris, that's a really good point, because I was surprised he came out for the second half, and I was surprised. Well, if he's come on and then he's just come on for 4 minutes, what was the point? So I was really surprised with that.
Probably tactical.
10, 15 minutes maybe, but that's a good point.
I thought Nori going at right back was a bit crazy. Doherty hasn't exactly played a long season. He's not featured particularly much this season. He's not had full games like some of the others has. So he should have been able to play a full game. And why we were not putting Nori on in the position that even I say he seems to be having a massive effect on the game, and we stick him at right back. I just don't understand that. It was a bit baffling to me. So I thought the team played really well. I didn't think the manager did very well yesterday, which might
Are
cause
you
a
talking
safety
about
right.
the managers in game
Yeah,
rather than the way you
tactically,
set
what
up?
we did, substitutes and stuff like that. You know, it just seemed we seemed. I don't know whether it's. I don't know whether he knows the so fatigued that he can't do much, and he's just, you know, he's saying in the press conference after, I sent Lamina on to play up front. He must have played there sometime in his career. Well, what sort of statement's that? It's a bit. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit naff really. And the one thing I'd say about the squad, and I'm going to bring it up. We keep saying how we've got a small squad. Well, we haven't. We've just decided to let most of them go out to other clubs. If we hadn't made them decisions that we should have done, we wouldn't have this problem now. And I know for all the right reasons, some of them have gone because they weren't getting game time. But we've compounded the issue. We can't cry about it now.
Well, you can cry about it, and people are crying about it, and keep bringing it up. I mean, I'll ask you, Fabio Silva, would you kept him?
Not particularly Fabio, but
would you have kept? What's his name? Oh God,
Mosquera,
Kalajic.
Well, he was injured, wasn't he?
So
not when we got rid of him, he wasn't.
I asked for that, didn't I?
Yeah,
and if he was only playing 10 minutes here and there for us, he probably wouldn't have got injured. So,
well, no, but I mean that comes down to recruitment, and it was a bit of a panic buy when we bought him. To be honest, nice bloke, injured again. So like, you know, who else were you gonna keep? Johnny Otto.
The reason they loaned so many players out was
Johnny Otto has cost us massively this season. Apart from the fact that he belted somebody or whatever he alleged to have done. We paid his contract out. I think we're still paying as well. Say again.
Go on, Jace.
I was just going to say when Chris said Johnny belted someone, I think it was Tawanda.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's cost us signing another squad player in January because we couldn't afford to. And you know, if it was that bad and we didn't like him, we maybe should have just let him stay at the club and rot.
We had that Brazilian guy lined up on the deadline day, so we probably could have afforded someone.
You want about Broja? Is Broja Brazil? Is it you on about Broja?
Not Broja. That Luis Alberto. We were about to sign him, and the agent hired the fee at the last second, and we pulled out.
All right.
That's who we were going to get.
There's some strange things happen. We signed the young is it Gonzalez? He's not got near
Enzo.
He's injured at the minute, as I found out yesterday. He's injured at the minute.
But you look at Noah Lamina. I don't know what's going. I know he's injured now, but he hasn't been injured. But he's been on the bench for 6 games without getting.
When he played in the under-21s, he wasn't good enough. Even Liam Keane said that.
Well, he's not good enough. Why is he on the bench?
Because Chris, if we was another man short, you'd be.
Well, as Jason said, it's either him or you, Chris.
Well, the thing is, if we didn't want Jason on there in case we had a penalty.
Well, yeah, because he's all right with the first penalty. Jason is. It's the second one. He's a bit Harry Kane.
I am here, just about. I'll put something out on Guyana, however, earlier on Twitter. Now, he's one where you look at the players we've got out on loan. I've made a list here. You look at the players and you think with, like Guedes, for example, there's no way he's going to wear a Wolves shirt again because his stock value is too high. He's proved he can't do it for us. He doesn't want to do it for us. And they've put him out on loan to get money. So he ain't coming back. You wouldn't sign a player for 40, 30, 40 million quid and go, oh, let's put him out on loan, like they've done with Silva because they're trying to offload him. But then you look at someone like, however, who's actually performing at Stoke. I'm not saying he's Premier League ready. I'm not saying he's ready. But he's actually, the loan systems work for him. He's got some experience. So he could be an addition next season. But you're quite right. If you look at some of the players that we've got out on loan, we've really put ourselves in this position.
Jason, let's reel them off.
Okay, so I didn't put them all, but however, who's at Stoke, and I think he's doing really well at Stoke. Then you got Shem Campbell. Shem Campbell, he played towards the end, but he was once again, he was like the young players are now. He was in and around the squad. You got Chiquinho. Now, once again, I thought he looked decent, but
I
he's
did
gone out
too.
on loan.
He's been brilliant in Portugal this year, Chiquino.
I think Gary
listen.
O'Neill has made reference to having a look at some of the loan players because obviously he's not really had a chance to have a proper look, and I think Chiquino would be one to be really keen to have a look at.
And then you've got the ones they're trying to offload clearly: Daniel Pedence and Guedes and Silva. But there's three forward.
Don't forget Mascara.
Yeah, Mascara as well. Sorry, that's what I said. He's not.
I'd like to see him come back in the summer. And now look, I know Mascara.
Cundle and Hodge as well.
Who? Oh, Hodge, yeah.
Cundle and Hodge.
And Cundle, yeah.
So when we're using these young players, we have put some really good players, and Ryan Giles as well. You know, players that we've put out on loan, which But if you listen to Gary O'Neill, a lot of his comments are tongue in cheek. Right, and the reason he's doing these are subliminal messages to the board when Ryan Aitnor is a flipping right back, and it's the first time he's
talking about the 15-year-old missing science
and playing as centre forward. These are subliminal messages to the board saying, "Oh, we've got probably one of the weakest, not weakest sides, but the shortest, smallest squads in the league," and he's right. So these are all messages, but he can't, I'm sure he's battering down. But this is what we've got to do at the end of the season. I'm not about chucking 50, 40, 60 million at it. They've got to give Gary O'Neill some control on his squad size, on what he wants to bring in. Because otherwise, he's the one we've got to keep. Don't worry about losing any of these players because they're all replaceable. But look how many managers, once again, we've had to go through to get Gary O'Neill. If Kilman goes, we'll replace him. Yeah? If Lamina goes, we'll replace him. If Sarr goes, we'll replace him. It's going to be even more difficult to replace Gary O'Neill. So let's not chuck hundreds of it. Let's just give him what he wants. Let's just give him the squad he wants. And the board need to show him some serious intention.
The starting 11 itself doesn't really need replacing. I don't think. The first team.
Well, we've already said. I think we've said we've got a sort of 12 or 13. Listen, I'm just going to go. I'm going to just go around the table here because then we're going to get on to the performance rate and then we can move on. But Jason, do you? And I'm going to ask this of everyone. Do you believe that in the summer, Hobbs, Gary, and stuff will do the? Do you believe that we'll have a good summer this year? They'll get it right, and we'll come out the summer stronger.
Well, I think what would make a really, really good summer for us is getting this centre forward problem solved that has been going on year after year after year after year after year. And I can go back as far as, like I said, did we ever really replace Jota? Have we replaced Raul Jimenez? No, we haven't. You look at the clubs that are doing well, who've got recognised centre forwards, i.e. Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, probably one of the most natural finishes in the league. Flipping it as a compliment for you there, George.
I don't know what he looked like, so is that a good thing?
But so Ollie Watkins, for example, I'm not saying I'm going to get Ollie Watkins, but we do need a real goal getter. I don't think there's anyone coming up from the youth team because we'd have probably seen that by now. So we've got to get that sorted, and I think that's the frustration for every Wolves fan. And if all of us Wolves fans can see from all four stands, you're telling me Hobbs, Shea, and
I'm pretty sure that I mean, you're right with Gary. The subliminal message is there. If they can't see now what needs to be done this summer, everyone's going to be taking a breath, looking at the summer, and there's going to be a lot of expectation to do. Gary's going to have a proper summer. I'm sure he's up for the challenge, but they've got to back him, and I'm sure there's a plan. But the question is, because that's a long-winded answer. Jason, do you believe that we'll come out the summer stronger, yes or no?
Yes. And the reason I'm saying yes, I want to answer that, Dave. The reason I'm saying yes is because it'll be gross negligence to go into next season with a squad as small as we've got now. Massively negligent. So whether it's a case of pulling all the loan players back in and let Gary O'Neill have a good look at them, Silva and Guedes, they're not even going to be looked at. The decision's been made on those. But it will be gross negligence to go into next season with a dishevelled squad like we've got now.
And guys in the chat, you can join in. Yes or no answers. Jack, same question to you and a reasoned answer because you are the voice of reason. Will we come out the summer stronger, yes, than we are now, yes or no?
100%, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Matt Hobbs, if you look at his track record on terms of recruitment, he's pretty much spot on, isn't he? So I think if we can offload that deadwood, to use quite a crass term, the Guedes, the Silva, Burdence, all those kind of guys. And yes, one or two first choice players might leave, Neto, whoever. But if we can invest a big chunk of that money, and we're not talking 100, 150 million, we don't want to do a Nottingham Forest or a Bournemouth. If we could give Gary O'Neill and Matt Hobbs 60, 65 million to go and get 5 really good players to add to what we've got, and then you get the likes of Mosquera, Chiquinho coming back and being part of that squad, and maybe 1 or 2 of the other youngsters in and around there. I mean, we were very, very close, against all odds, let's be honest, to pushing for a European place this year. And it's just that lack of depth that's just made us fall short. It would be, like Jason said, it would be absolutely criminal if we were in a position next year where a small squad could cost us again. They've got to get it right. I mean, we're talking about, like George just said, our starting 11, I think, if we had everyone fit, I think we'd have given Arsenal a really difficult game last night.
Oh, yeah.
I think we probably would have won.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. So we're not on about ripping it all out and starting again, are we? We're talking about just adding a little bit of depth so that we can rotate players when they're getting tired over Christmas, New Year, and you've got all those games coming in. And just so that when it gets to March and April and players are starting to tire, you can refresh and renew the squad. And then you don't have that dip in form. I mean, we've had a really bad time, haven't we? And it's sort of like Chelsea just said, 6 without a win at exactly the wrong time of the season, really. But, you've got to kind of look at it and go, these football people, Gary O'Neill, Matt Hobbs, they will understand exactly why the season's tailed off the way it has, and they'll be making it their number one priority in the summer to make sure it doesn't happen again. And part of that, as Jason says, is getting in a centre forward that will get us those goals, and then you can rotate Cunha and Wang and whoever else around that centre forward then, and then that helps you even more because you manage the minutes better.
Brilliant. Chelsea, same question to you. Well, you confident? Yes, no?
I'll keep it short because I agree with everyone else. I think yes, because if we are going to say no, what is the point of supporting next season? The problems with the team are blatantly obvious. We've got a good, strong 11. There may be individual differences we want to make, but I do think we need to spend at least 60 to 70 million. We need to get another striker. And I don't like when fans are being critical of Fraser when they're teenagers. They shouldn't be relying on young youth to lead the line. They are there to embellish the squad and learn from their seniors. And if you are relying on a young striker to lead your team in a vital part of the season, that's clearly a wake-up call. And we shouldn't be critiquing the young players. They're coming in trying to do a job. It's the ownership, the management. And I do believe 2 or 3 players will be in a much better position if we keep some of our players as well. Because we were talking down the watch along of who would you let go to get the money in, because obviously we have to be careful of FFP as well. But if we can get 2 more in the summer, I think that'll be good. Try and get 1 in January and then see where we can go from there. But we need to keep our very important players as well.
Brilliant. Lucas?
I think 100% we will. I think we sell 6 to 9 players and getting 3 or 4, I think we'll come out strong because there's some players that on our list of money and they're just getting injured or out on loan. So we need to get rid of them and bring in players that will be making a difference on the bench or starting. So if we just get them players that are injury prone, not good enough for the first team, not showing enough passion when they are playing, and getting 3 or 4 players saying, no, we'll come and do it, I think we'll come out really strong.
Nice one. George?
So, the one thing I will say is, obviously you could go on about selling our biggest... Would you guys all agree that our 3 biggest assets financially are Neto, Gomez and Aït-Nouri? Would you all agree with that?
Pretty much, yeah.
My only issue is if you're to cash in on one of them, if you were to cash in on Neto, the Neto replacement is not going to be anywhere near as good as Neto because we don't have the pulling power to sign someone of the caliber of Neto.
Yeah,
George,
but can I just say,
George,
look at Joe Gomez. We've signed Joe Gomez. No one had heard of Joe Gomez before he come.
and George,
Look
just
what
on
a
that
player he's
point,
turned out to be. That's
Oh,
just me being
100%.
objective, by the way.
George, on that point as well, when they said the same when Jota went, but we had Neto. Chiquino's not is fast, direct. He can cross the ball, so he might come back and be a better
that's
player.
the point.
The thing is, as well, with Neto, you make the point. I mean, we all love Neto, but we're managing without him anyway. We're having to because he's not on the pitch for half the time.
Oh, 100%. I understand what you're saying, but as you said with Chiquinho and Neto, these players take time to develop. I'm not okay. Fair enough, cashing on Neto, but
yeah,
if we were to sell both Nori and Neto, I just don't think we should be selling our big stars. Neto, I can kind of get behind because he is so injury prone, but will big teams come in for him? Will if we're valuing at 60, 70 million, is he sellable? Because who's going to come in for him with that injury record?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good point as well. With Neto, we might see him at the end of the season. If he has a really good Euros, we can add a 10, 15 million on his value as well.
That's if he plays, because Portugal's wings are strong. But do I trust Matt Hobbs and Fosun? I suppose Fosun's signings haven't been the best, but is Mendes fully out the picture now?
No, Mendes won't be fully out the picture. I'm sure that they will, he'll be involved somewhere. I mean, Lucas, you might know or better. Isn't Mendes Neto's agent?
Yeah.
So he'll be involved somewhere on the line. He might have a couple of deals. I don't think we should fully turn our back on Mendes, but what we shouldn't be doing is like getting sucked in to spend 35 million on the next wonder kid.
Well, I think. Sorry to interrupt. When they said last season they're going to buy players between the 15 and 8 million range, I think that's a good range to stick to because you say take Santi Bueno for example. He hasn't been amazing, but he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, and he's getting more game time as well.
Low payment equals lower risk. So because we didn't splash 30 million on him like we easily could have in the past, just like being used to like put money into a club, because it was only 8.5 million. No one's really batting an eyelid if he has a poor game, but if it's a big chunk of money, that's when people start to panic.
Really good point. And I think the recruitment strategy has definitely changed under Hobbs. They're much less reliant on Mendes. Not saying that they won't use Mendes if something comes up, but you've seen from the recruitment of Joe Gomez and Enzo and people like that, they're kind of scouring the South American market a lot more as well. And to be honest, I wouldn't be adverse to a couple of players out the Championship. I mean, I watched that Sims. He's a proper number 9.
Yeah, he is. Like he's a good player.
He didn't do much for Everton, did he?
Pardon?
He didn't do much for Everton, did he?
Well, he might not have done, but like you look at him at the way he plays for Coventry and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's the answer, but like there are some
confidence now behind him and in a few goals under his belt, and that does make a difference because we've seen players who've started their careers and it's been a bit slow. They've gone out on loan or they've gone to a club in the Championship, done well, then they've made the transition back to the Premier League a lot better.
Coventry spent about 20 million on him, I'm sure. Or was it 15 million?
I don't know.
I mean, there's another point as well. We see the likes of Antonio, who plays for West Ham, how strong he is and how he turns a player, rolls them and gets shot. You saw Sims do exactly that to the United defence, hits the underside of the bar and comes out. How he was so strong and turned. Yeah, he misplaced a couple of things, and the goal that he hit was instinctive as well. So I'm not saying he's the answer, but like why can't we
that ilk?
In the Championship?
Pulling power's the main issue because at the end of the day, we're a Premier League team, but the area of Wolverhampton, it's not an area of football I really wants to live in.
Well, you say
and we don't pay that good money.
You say that, but a lot of the Portuguese love it. And they really like. I mean, Wolverhampton, they do. Strangely enough, I mean, Neves loved it. Jimenez loved it.
It's so quiet, isn't it? It's similar. They don't have to big cities, are they?
Anyway, let's hear what Cheerful has to say on the subject.
Well, Dave, this summer is going to be a monumental summer for the club. It's going to define us for the next 10 years.
I agree.
The answer to what you're asking me is no. I don't.
You don't have the confidence.
No, I've got no confidence in the club with the current ownership model, making the correct decisions. The first example I'll give you was Gary O'Neill and Hobbs wanted to sign a striker in January, and the owners said no.
That's not actually true. You don't know that Hobbs said no. The money wasn't there.
No, Hobbs didn't say.
Chris, let me just come back on this point. I know you bring this up all the time, but like, yeah, we would like a striker, but like they ain't going to put us over the threshold, so we get a points deduction next year. You can't do that.
I'm not talking about thresholds, Dave. I'm talking about the principle of the manager and the sporting director wanted to sign a player and the ownership saying they weren't allowed to. That's what happened.
But why aren't we allowed to? Because we can't break FSP and go.
Right.
If we go over the threshold, because we would, they only had a 2.3 million thing they budgeted for, and if you finish outside that threshold, you've got a points deduction. Look at Forest and Everton this year; they're not going to do that.
Dave, I understand all that.
Finish, but in the summer, you're completely correct. Those excuses are gone. They're gone.
Yeah. So we've got the Euros this year. I reckon we'll be starting to start the season. We won't have players signed, and it'll be, it's been difficult because of the Euros, been difficult market, all of these bloody excuses that they've rolled out before. And I just don't see us signing the players that we need to change that we need to. I don't even think they'll sell to buy. I think they'll sell one.
Well,
I think they'll sell one or two players, and we'll get a very small amount of it.
We can see we've got enough stock, and that's not just in loan. That's just even with one or two first teamers going. We've got a lot of stock, so I'm not too concerned about the finances this time round.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the point, Chris, and I think the point that you're making is correct. And you don't have the confidence for whatever reason. You probably, I personally are confident, and maybe just because I'm a glass half full type of person. This summer they cannot have the shambles that happened last summer, because the fans will not accept it. Where every single fan that's watching on this now, and there's over 400 of you, and I hope some of you have hit the like button. Every single fan that watches this back, and there'll be thousands, or listen to it back on the podcast, and there'll be another few thousand listen to it. We all know we have got to have a summer where they've got to invest, and if they don't do it, there'll be a riot. There'll be because the excuses won't be there. So they will sell someone, a big name, I'm sure. Neto probably being the primary target. They'll probably get money from other sources. We've got about 20 million leeway anyway once we get into the summer. So if they sell Neto for, say, 50 million, and maybe they'll sell for 10 and Geddes that will go, and maybe they sell around about 70, 80 million. And they've got 100 million in total. They'll probably give Gary O'Neill in the summer around about 60 million, and then save some for January. That's where I'm expecting, But if they don't, then everyone's going to go, "Where's the money gone? Why aren't you using it?" And there'll be a meltdown. I can't see that they're going to want that, or they're going to let that happen.
Well, it'd be interesting when they release the season ticket prices. That's when it'll really start to heat up.
Well, that's always going to be a contentious subject. And Chris, funnily enough, he's on the board of the trust, and I'm sure the trust is something that's going to be keeping an eye on that, along with potentially wire Afterpay, pulling out the UK market and all of that sort of stuff. But that's down to the trust to ask questions. But Chris, in short, you're not confident at all, and you're hoping to be proved wrong.
No, I said I hope that they do what you're all hoping for in the summer, and it's a pivotal thing. But I just can't see. I think we have a problem with Jeff Sheehan. I think until he moves on and gets somebody in that role that is a bit more football minded, I think we're going to have problems.
That's fair enough. Too Risky says he's on Chris for this. And as regards to Jeff, I think he's made mistakes. I think he's kind of put his hand up in a statement he made recently, knowing that he's made mistakes. I think this is why Matt Hobbs has taken more of a front and centre on transfers and stuff like that. And Jeff's kind of like, I trust you to get on with it. You'll have to sign the checks and report back to Fosun and stuff. But I think Matt Hobbs, in terms of transfer policy, is much more running the shop. Don't forget, Gary O'Neill was Matt Hobbs' appointment, not a Mendes appointment or that type of thing. They've gone for a British manager. And I think that's signalled a change of policy. Before we get on to the match rating, performance and all that, and then we get on to our songs, I do have a message from Manny, who has completed the London Marathon today. So I'm just going to put Manny up on the screen with a few words, trundling back with achy legs in a car with his family.
Back from London after completing London Marathon number 4. Absolutely toughest one yet. Took a long time, but we got there in the end. Had to do a lot of walking. Didn't really train because of the walk being so close. Since I finished that, didn't have time to train, but I've got one of these. So thank you to everybody that shared, supported, donated, and the awareness of Dementia UK, very much appreciated. So what can I say apart from, as we don't stop there, so busy week in the household. Samosa Saturday, and next week Samosa Saturday 21 before the game against Luton. A brilliant event. Hopefully the weather's good. All the usual volunteers will be there. Dave and his crew and everybody else will be there. So please come and visit us up by the university from 11 o'clock until kick-off, and let's raise funds. But this time it will be for Dementia UK, and also Wolves Foundation will split the funds. So thank you again, everybody. Absolute. I watched the match actually last night. Proud of the boys, the way they played, considering so many changes and playing second or third string forward line. I thought we held our own. We defended well in the end. They were too strong for us. We thought that might happen, but onwards and upwards, 2 home games, see what we can do. Hopefully get 1 or 2 players back, and see you Samosa Saturday next week.
Fantastic. I think we should all give him a round of applause. Well done, Manny. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Don't forget, this is only 5 weeks after he decided to walk to Newcastle in 5 days. So to achieve the marathon as well, absolutely fantastic. Manny also mentions the Samosa Saturday will be taking place, number 21 actually, next Sunday for the Luton game. I will be helping out as normal. So, come round, say hi. Get yourself a samosa. If you drop a bit of money in the tin or the card reader, and if you haven't got anything, he'll still give you a samosa if you're hungry and stuff like that. So any donation, 10p, £10, whatever, Samosa Saturday, just drop it in the tin, and that will be against Luton. Loads of people clapping as well in the chat. So Manny, from all of us, we're really proud of you, mate, and really well done on the continuing fine work that you do, raising money for great causes. It really does make a difference. Right, Lucas, we're going to go with you first on this one. Your Leemore Windows man of the match, Fox at Shippey performance rating, and what made you smile during the day, your moment of the day. Could be anything, like I say, it could be a moment in the game, or it could be having some, a nice curry or bag of chips, or maybe even a pork pie or something, whatever. What's yours?
I think my performance rating would be a 7.5. I'd give man of the match to Tommy, and probably seeing you after the game made my day. Meeting you after the game, seeing you after the game, when you was in the stands and hearing the fans the whole way through the game, making noise. Didn't hear the Arsenal fans for longer than 5 minutes, so it was just great.
To be fair, you make a really good point. I thought the fans were magnificent against Arsenal. I thought, that's one thing, one positive that we can take out of this season. that Gary and the team have brought the fans back on board. And we talked about the atmosphere at Molineux last year, but it was a bit of a disconnect. Now you've got the connection back. The fans are on board, and the fans are being that 12th man again. Even when the chips are down, they're rising and they're singing, which is a really, really, really good point. Jason,
my man of the match, I'm going for Boubacar Traore. For me, I thought he was, and I did say this once again on social media earlier. He hasn't really jumped off the page for me, or I haven't been his biggest fan. Tommy Doyle was a great contender for me as well. He's had a fantastic season. He's one we have got to sign permanently, by the way. That's but for me, Traore, bearing in mind he hasn't had much game time because he's behind Lamina and Gomez, and I thought he played brilliant. I thought he broke down the play well, broke up the play well. He got the ball forward well, tracked back. I just thought, that was his time to shine, really. And he did take it. And it gives Gary O'Neill not much of a selection headache, but it's good now that we've got another player in contention. Performance rating, once again, I think I wrote Wolves off, you wrote Wolves off, Dave, Chris had wrote Wolves off. So going into the game, I wasn't very confident, but then I was very, very surprised with what I saw. And for me, we still lost 2-0 at home, so for me, it's a 7 out of 10. And moment of the match, a couple of touches by Traore. Bearing in mind these young players, as Chelsea said, Nathan Fraser been chucked in at the deep end, and Traore was exactly the same. And I think Gary O'Neill doesn't know which one of them to play, really, because he's got two young similar lads on the bench, and he thinks, right, who can I play? And it really is on the flip of a coin, and I do believe that. And I think this Traore looked very, very confident in possession. There was 2 or 3 times when he got the ball.
He was very calm, wasn't he?
He got the ball. He already knew which pass he was going to make. His decision making was spot on. It was very quick. He beat a couple of players. He looked a bit exciting. It was good to see a player express himself and not be too unconfident. So yeah, for me, it was seeing Traore make the touches he did.
And he got into a position to have a shot. Okay, it was blocked, but he was going for it, and that was good to see as well. And the point you make as well on Boubacar Traore as well. Boubacar, we've seen him, but he's so full of energy. He really, I thought he didn't do himself any harm yesterday either. I mean, he's often overlooked, but he's starting to turn him into a real player. And obviously he's playing along, in a midfield against Arsenal. You got the likes of Declan Rice in there as well. And, he stuck to his task really well.
He didn't look out of place in the Wolves team, and he didn't look out of place on that pitch. That's testament to him and the shift he put in.
Great points. Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote 7.5 for the performance rating. I think you give us 10 out of 10 for endeavour and commitment and desire. Quality, understandably, was lacking at key times and in key moments, really. So kind of evens it out, doesn't it, really? So 7.5. Man of the match, I went with Tommy Doyle. I've talked about him a lot in recent weeks. I think he's growing in terms of not just as a footballer, but also as a leader on the pitch. You can see him sort of pulling senior players and telling them where to go and taking charge of some set pieces and sort of telling people where he needs them to be. And you can see a couple of times, we've talked a lot about Sarr tonight and his poor kicking, and Doyle's constantly offering him that option, isn't he? He's dropping right onto the D and saying, if you need me, I'm here. Get the ball to me and I'll turn and get us up the pitch. So I think, like I think Jason's just said, 4.3 million in the summer. That's the first bit of business we need to get done, regardless of anything else. Get that contract signed.
And we'll get for Silver.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think we might have to pay someone 4.5 million to have Silver off us at the minute. But Tommy Doyle, man of the match, and highlight of the day. I think Lucas touched on it. The atmosphere. I mean, when we did one of our fan board meetings with Matt Hobbs, he mentioned that, when the Wolves fans have kind of got their backs up and the backs of the wall, that's when we're at our best. And I think you saw that last night. Everyone kind of thought this could be a tough night here. I'm going to give absolutely everything for this, the players on the pitch and the coaching staff and everyone. And the atmosphere was brilliant, and no one really got on anyone's back, even when the goals went in and the songs were coming out. And it was like you say, it was a Molineux night of old, wasn't it? And I think we've not had that for a long time, for various reasons. But it's something that I think we can look back ultimately with this season and go, actually, you know what? One of the big successes is this fan base is now back on side. And I think you kind of saw that yesterday.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, Jack actually does sit on the fans advisory board, which is when you're on it, dropped in your meeting with Matt Hobbs as well, which is the fans advisory board is all about protecting. It's all about protecting the
heritage and traditions of the clubs and stuff like that. So I'm expecting quite an interesting meeting about FA Cup replays soon. So.
Yeah,
I shall report back. But yeah,
no, that would be good. And Sarah says, well said. The other thing I want to pick up on point that you've made there about Tommy Doyle, mate. I think he's brilliant. 4.3 million. Would you swap him for Nunes? No chance, not me. We got rid of Nunes for who wanted to go, and the best thing he's done in a City shirt so far is broke his finger. As far as I know.
He's had a good season, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. All
brilliant.
And we got Tommy Doyle,
splinters, isn't
he? Looking like he's loving it. Wolves.
Well, he's not the new Neves.
Yeah, he's everywhere. I think there should be a new song for Tommy Doyle. He's here, he's there, he's every beeping where. Tommy Doyle, because he literally is everywhere. And he was playing like a quarterback, wasn't he?
What's the beeping, Dave? What's that? I didn't get that bit.
The quarterback.
No, the beeping. What word?
I can't swear. Can I? Blooming. Can't swear.
Come on, Lord.
You know what I mean? He literally is everywhere. So he's just great. And 4.3 million. Surely that's the first thing, the business that gets done straight away. Activate that clause. We've made a signing. Tommy Doyle is permanently signed because I do think
100%.
Well, they don't sign him. I'm 1,000 out.
Well, exactly that. Yeah. This young lad, I think, could go on and play for England one day. I think he's got the potential. He's got the leadership qualities. He's got the vision. I mean, Brian's come on and talked. Boston Brian has talked about Martino, how he used to scan the pitch and he'd know where things is. Tommy Doyle's all of that. He's a cross between Martino and Neves for me. So, yeah, great point. Chelsea, to you next.
I think for my players, I'm going to say Traore. I was impressed with Doyle. I do think that Doyle complemented Traore really well, and I think he was a fantastic partner alongside him. I've got a better appreciation of Doyle over the last couple of games. I've been watching him, and he is kind of leading the team, and I'm going to maybe say a little bit more than Kilman does as a captain. But overall, I think how Traore handled the occasion. He had 8 duels won on the ground. He won his aerial duel. And considering the midfield he was up against, I think he did a fantastic job and he can be very proud of how he presented himself. And I agree with everyone else in saying that he didn't look out of place. And I think to say that against an Arsenal team that's trying to go for the league, I think that's a great appreciation of him. And I really hope that he will stay in the team next season and gets to learn from the likes of Lamina and Doyle and Gomez to become a better player as he moves forward. I think for my rating, it's not a little more negative. I'm going to give it a 6. I was really impressed with the first half, but I'm sick and tired of seeing us going further and further defensively, passing the ball between the goalkeeper and defence and causing our own problems.
Yeah.
And these goals are coming from the same problem. So we're either not learning from mistakes or it's become a habit now. And I think until we sort that out, I'm not going to give it a 7 or 8 because that's something we could simply do and reduce the pressure that we're having at the end of the halves. Because whenever I watch the game, I can just see when I'm doing the watch along, they're getting more and more in defence, and I'm just like, they're going to score. I know they are, and they always do, the opposition. So we need to sort that out.
Fantastic. Someone did point out that Tommy Doyle was Irish, but there he is in an England shirt, so he is English.
He's from Sandbach.
Pardon?
He's from Sandbach.
Yeah, so I think I just Wikipedia. So that made me panic there. So when I was saying, so Sandbach near Dublin. So yeah, he is. You think Chelsea? Any more points to add to that?
I was trying to say what's my best part today? I do think the crowd listening in. I didn't get to listen it as much as I used to, but because I had a little bit of an earphone, so I could hear a little bit. But it was fantastic just to hear the crowd just willing the team on. But for the highlight of the weekend, I'll have to say it's not football related, but it was my little Cocker Spaniel turning 1 year old and watching him trying to jump through a hoop and make him 1 out of 100, and that was the best part of the weekend, I'd say.
Absolutely. Lucas, to you.
I've already done mine.
Oh, sorry, Chris, to you. Apologies.
I'm going to buck the trend a little bit, Dave, because I'm going to give us a 8.5 for our performance, because when you consider the you don't need to fall over, Dave, at shop. When you consider the state of the squad, the fitness levels of them, the fact that they're being sticky plastered together to get out and play half a game, some of them, the fact that we're playing young kids that have got very little experience, to play against a side that's just been in the Champions League quarterfinals and really not have much in the match at all, and that could have been a 1-1 draw. We went really, I don't think they really put us to the sword. We played, I thought, really well considering what we got. So yes, again, I can see why people give it 6s, but I prefer to look at how they applied themselves and what they had. The same way that Gary O'Neill has been saying, that was an outstanding result for that side that he had, and I think that was correct. Probably, so that's why I gave it that score. I think I'd have to agree with Jason and the others in Boubacar as my man of the match. He plays on the side of he's not far away from getting 2 yellow cards and getting sent off, but his effort and his energy and his drive, and it's something that we probably haven't had since Lamina decided to get fatigued. He would give us that before, and he's not done it since. So I think Boubacar was my man of the match.
Great shout, mate. Absolutely fantastic. And it's not. I gave it an 8 as well, because the reason I gave it an 8 was not okay. We lost 2-0, but when you take into account like what you've said about the team that we had, the expectation and the way they've applied themselves, they achieved. They were unlucky to lose. 2-0 in the end. So yeah, that's why I gave it such a high score on the performance rating. George, to you.
In terms of performance, I think the one thing we all have to say is we finally got a team that will die for the badge, and I think it's been a while since we can say that. I mean, I think even under Nuno, those games and the players wouldn't turn up. I don't think we've had a team that is fully committed to the club since, really, from what I've known, the Mick McCarthy days. I think if you break down the players individually, Matt Hobbs has always said he's trying to get the players that are similar to the fans, working class, working hard. And every game, whatever happens, you can see that they're giving it a go. And I think that's, so when you have that in mind, and we're playing a good team like Arsenal, they'll never give up, and they're always going to give it a go. So even though I did predict us to lose, I knew that we would have a good chance. We'd probably hold them to 0-0 for quite a bit, which is what happened, to be fair. So performance rating, I probably wouldn't go as high as an 8, because obviously we did lose. Because you can't. If it was a draw, it'd be 8-9. But I'd say about a 7. But I think I was really proud of the way that Gary set up, and then number 2, how committed the players are. In terms of man of the match, there's a few people I'd like to give a shout out to, but I think I could sit there all day and praise all of them. I think I had to jump on the bandwagon, but Boubacar Traoré was excellent, wasn't he? Breaking up play, winning. What I love about him is he wins the ball high up the pitch. Not many players in the Premier League who actually tackle these days. They'll go in, make a tackle, run around, try and win the ball. We got 2 players in João Gomes and Boubacar that do that when they play. Tackle per game are off the charts. So yeah, I love Boubacar, and I think I've actually never seen him play a bad game for us, in my opinion. And then
he had a go as well. He's got a shot on him from distance. We're still, by the way, the only team in the top 5 divisions of Europe that haven't scored a goal in the league from
In the
outside
league.
the area.
Let's not forget about the cup goal, Dave.
Yeah, no, that was a great goal in the league.
Yeah. And then in terms of moment of the day, I think it just goes back to, like, obviously the some of the youngsters getting a chance. And I think for Sherrera, so my moment of the day was because he's actually got a lot of criticism. I've seen him, being criticised quite a lot. I know there's a lot of opinions going around on Twitter and social media or whatever, varied. But I think it was nice for him to get a start and really show what he can do, because when you're being thrown on 10, 15 minutes to go, you can't really show what you got to do. And what position is he? Is he a winger?
He's more of a midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was nice to see him. I just thought he did really well, and it was just really nice to see a player who we brought through the academy actually not just coming in and just running around like a headless chicken.
Great point. Well, guys, we're going to come on to our score predictions for Bournemouth and, of course, Luton in a bit, because we won't be having an extra time after Bournemouth because everything's coming up in quick succession. But a bit of a light-hearted break now. First of all, can someone tell me how many likes there are on the video so far? Because we have over nearly 500 watching, so that'd be interesting to know if we can get over 100 on that. Let YouTube know you're enjoying it. But we're going to be talking, because I went to see the Kaiser Chiefs. Jack went to see the Kaiser Chiefs at the Halls. Fantastic venue, top quality venue. And we thought we'd pick out our top 3 favourite artists. And I'm going to start with Jack. And Jack, you might want to say a few words about the concert as well at the Kaiser Chiefs on Wednesday, because they were fantastic live, especially when he went walking around the balcony. That was brilliant, that was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I think particularly that genre of music now, sort of indie and all that, they live on the live arena now, don't they? Because with streaming and everything, you don't really get an album band anymore, do you? That kind of rely on sort of their output on records. So it's all about live performances, and I think that's where people like the Kaiser Chiefs come into their own. Really, I thought they were really, really good. I mean, I think they played quite a lot of the newer stuff, but every time they did, they put an older one in straight after, didn't they? So it kind of kept everyone, kind of moving and dancing. It was a great night, wasn't it? And I think, like you say, I think it took a while, but now they've reopened the Civic Hall. I think it's back to where it was, being a real top sort of music venue.
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic venue. I mean, the investment that's gone into the halls, the sound I've spoke to them and I know them and done a bit of work with them. And they're basically saying that it's right up there with the best venues, audio and visual, in terms of the investment and the quality of sound anywhere in Europe. It's brilliant. They've got some great acts coming up. I should also mention, don't forget that the Wolves Wembley Wonders is on shortly in May at the Grand Theatre, which is the 1974 squad, 50 years on with Johnny Phillips. So make sure you do check out the Grand for that as well. Jack, okay, your top 3.
Top 3 artists. David Bowie would be in there. Absolute legend. And, whatever kind of mood you're in, there's a David Bowie song to kind of match it, isn't there? He's such a versatile artist. Number 2, Oasis, kind of my generation, that kind of, Britpop and everything. And they were kind of the ones that everyone looked up to and thought they were amazing. Number 1 is James. And it's quite nice we're talking about this, because they've just had their first number 1 album in their career.
Another one that goes, oh, sit down.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one, yeah.
I've seen them about 20 times now, and I've seen them twice this summer as well, coming up. So
I've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah,
they're good live, aren't they?
You going, Jack?
Yeah, they're amazing live. If anyone gets a chance to go and see them live, they are phenomenal live.
Fantastic. Why not go? We'll switch now and we'll go to Crap Internet and see what he's got to
Crap
say.
Internet. I've got to say, I think we had this question probably a couple of years back, Dave, and I've got to agree with Jack. David Bowie. My favourite album, I don't know if you know this, Jack, Hunky Dory.
Yeah.
So that was a great album for me. Loads of tracks in there. So really like David Bowie. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They've done some absolutely great music as well. So I do really like the Chili Peppers. I'm actually struggling for a third one. I don't know why. But I'm listening to. I do like 80s music, and I tend to listen to like. I'll get a song and I'll keep listening to it. And I'm listening to a lot of Tina Turner and Simply Red at the minute. Please don't judge me.
No, Simply Red. That album Stars. Brilliant album.
Yeah, Simply Red. I mean, Mick Hucknall's a tosser. But no, his music's very good. I've got to say that. So, yeah. So, Simply Red, Chili Peppers and David Bowie.
Fantastic. Lucas, to you.
So I think Coldplay is my favourite one at the minute, and then Eminem, and then one people probably might not know, H.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
H.
Yeah.
Is that?
I'm not down with the kids.
He's a Manchester rapper.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna know.
Fantastic. Well, George, you can go next then.
So my sort of scene is like Ibiza, house music, that kind of thing. Techno, that kind of thing.
All that sort of stuff.
I suppose, yeah, that's a good tune to be fair. So obviously I've been to Ibiza a couple of times, been to a few festivals. So I'm lucky to see, great selection of DJs. I've seen like Carl Cox, David Guetta, Calvin Harris, people.
George,
like
I sit next to a DJ, well, just 2 up from us. Who does a lot of the Birmingham circuit.
All right, no, that's interesting.
Yeah,
it's quite, to be fair, Birmingham's quite big for like the race. But
nice lad.
Probably the 3 that stand out to me, ones I've seen live. Camel Fat, if any of you have ever heard of that, the Coca-Cola song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who else? I'm a big fan of Michael Bibby. He's someone who recently just recovered from cancer, and he's headlining one of the main house festivals now. So that's really good to see. And another one, Murphy's Law. They're just, as I said, they're all like house music. So if it's not your thing, you might not have heard of it. But yeah, that's what I'm into. So
definitely, I look forward to seeing some of those raps on TikTok from you very soon. Chris.
I've got no idea what George was just saying, to be honest, Dave.
I can play some of the songs, a little boogie.
Are we still on songs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Chic are my favourite group. Like playing the bass guitars, and they happen to have the best bass guitar ever to play bass guitar, playing for them. A guy called Bernard Edwards, who unfortunately died now. But so Chic are my favourite band. Other groups that I kind of like, top groups. I'm with Jason. I like Tina Turner, mainly because most of her songs involve lots of bass, and she uses bass as melody rather than as bass. So I like Tina Turner, and then a bit more modern band that I like from my early 80s football days would have been Happy Mondays. I'm not going to say any more about that.
Cracking, absolutely cracking. Great choices. Chelsea, over to you.
I'd say from growing up, my favourite band is Paramore. I got to see them last year.
Paramore, yeah.
Really like them. I get to see them again when I go and see Taylor Swift. So that'll be good. Paramore opening. I don't know how.
Paramore opening for Taylor Swift.
So
you got 2 in 1. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 4-hour show. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. I agree with the other one of Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. And last one. I'm going to go a bit pop punk again. I like Simple Plan because if you were someone who watched Scooby-Doo in the 2000s, they did the best Scooby-Doo intro ever, and I will stand by it forever. Simple Plan, Scooby-Doo intro.
Loving it. Well, for me, obviously, do like the Kaiser Chiefs. So, I mean, I've become more of a fan after seeing them on Wednesday because they were literally so good live. Me and Emma have been to see Pink a couple of times. She is absolutely brilliant live.
We saw her at Hyde Park. She was unbelievable.
She can sing. You go to see some, they can't sing live. She can sing and swing around and stuff. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Saw level 42 the end of last year, 80s band at the halls.
Yeah, level 42, Dave. Good
Mate,
call.
something about you, Jason.
I beg your pardon.
You know, lessons in love. You know,
I steady on, Dave.
That bloke must be deformed to play bass guitar the way he does.
I know, absolutely brilliant. Level 42, and again, they were on at the hall, so there's lots of things coming up on the hall. So do check it out. Madness. I've seen them 2 or 3 times now. Absolutely brilliant. You know, especially when they do Night Out to Cairo at the end, and the crowd's going mad. There's so many. I do like a little bit of ELO as well. Funnily enough, I like a few of those tracks, but I'll just love music.
Bit of Mr. Blue Sky, Dave.
Oh, Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky is actually Steve Ball's favourite song, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is great. It is.
Dave, could I just say, you know, what night was you at the concert?
What concert?
The one you've just been talking about for
Card Chiefs was on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, did you know who else was in town playing on Wednesday?
Yes, because there was youth culture that or youth sector played it as a support act.
No, who was playing at the other venue? Eric Cantona.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So Eric Cantona,
he is a singer, isn't he?
He stopped at the Novotel.
Apparently, he's joined forces with Flock of Seagulls.
Right.
You remember his whole thing when he said about the seagulls following the ship?
Oh, right. Yeah. He stopped at the Novotel. So, yeah, Eric Cantona played the same night.
I watched him. I watched him on. He was on show singing live. I don't know what show it was, but yeah, the seagulls do a lot of shitting, and his singing was a bit like that as well.
You didn't meet him up, did you? And try to. Did he play a reserve game for Wolves or something? And you're going to get him on the podcast or something?
No.
Nothing. No. I like it, and yeah, back as well. Aha, sun always shines on TV. All that sort of stuff. You know, I like a bit of 80s. Can't go wrong with a bit of 80s. So, pardon? Yeah. I'm only allowed 3. I've been told off by the producer. I had 4.
By the gaffer.
Yeah, with the gaffer. Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. But some great ideas there. There's loads of you as well in the comment section that have been putting up. I mean, like ELO got a big thumbs up from Thingy. Michael McIntyre, big show, Chris.
Yeah, that's what he was on. It was awful.
Yeah. Tears for Fears.
Big shout out to them. He's a Wolves fan, isn't
he? Yeah. Who is?
The lead singer of Tears for Fears. I don't know his name, but I know he's a Wolves fan.
I never knew that. It's good to know.
Roland Orzabal.
Fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed that. We're going to finish off the show by looking ahead to the 2 games that we've got this week to finish off on. 466 of you watching live, which is great. Please hit that like button. If you're brand new, subscribe because you can join in the chat. Which would be much appreciated. So we're going to start with. Let's just go with the. We'll go with. I was going to say the letters, but like we've got 3 on C, so we'll go with George. As you've got the Brian Clough. Oh look, Louise there. Yeah, has come up with their Prodigy, Aerosmith, and Pink. We like those as well. 93 likes. Get it to 100, guys. Prodigy, great. Is that the fire? Did they do the fire starter?
Yeah.
Sing it,
Yeah.
Dave. Dave, sing it. Come on. Dave, sing it. Sing it.
I'm a fire starter.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Put a song to that. I mean,
brilliant.
Some words for a player, like and do the Prodigy fire starter for a player. That would be amazing.
Brilliant. Look at
that. Before the Villa, they played Prodigy before the Villa, and I was sat there and I was like, if this wasn't at Villa Park, if this isn't the Molineux, this would be.
You'd be rocking out.
But because it's at Villa Park, I wasn't enjoying it.
No. Well, we do have a laugh. We try to have a bit of humour and stuff and going.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we've got, I think, a very important game, more important than the Arsenal game coming up on Wednesday night. The reason I say it's important, it's against Bournemouth. I know we've got a Bournemouth fan channel that's watching currently, and I have got your email. I haven't replied to you yet because it's been a busy weekend. I will reply to it tomorrow. but Bournemouth, the reason why I say it's a big game because it could be 2.4 million or whatever it is. Because we've got if we beat Bournemouth, we pull away, and if we can finish in front of Bournemouth, it's an extra couple of million in our coffers and not in their coffers. So that's why I say it's an important game. And then of course we've got Rob Edwards' equally dilapidated squad against Luton. So George, for you first, mate, score prediction for Bournemouth, thoughts, and score prediction for Luton.
Well, as on first, does anyone know the sort of situation of what players we got back for Wednesday and Saturday? Do we know if Semedo and Cunha are back? Like, do we know how fit all these players are going to be? Because obviously this affects the prediction quite a bit. Because with the current team, I wouldn't be confident for either games.
I think the answer to that question at this point in time on the Sunday after a game is no, until we hear more from, we see training footage or we see more from Gary O'Neill.
Because whenever Gary O'Neill says it's a maybe, it's a no. Let's be real here, because that's what's happened all season.
Just go on the basis that we are where we are, and we might have like the tomato. I mean, he said tomato. It's just knackered really and tired and muscle strained, so he might come back. Nuri might be back in the start. You don't know, but like it's not going to move a lot. We've got 3 games in a week, so they're going to rotate the squad.
Yeah, let's say we've only got Semedo back. The rest is the same.
Okay.
Against Bournemouth, because they've got that vocal point up front, they create chances. Start of the season, we were better than them, yes, but they've really kicked on. And they had a horrible start to the season, but since then they've been pretty good. They play good football. And Solanke will kill us if he gets chances. He will just kill us on the break and he'll put them away. And that's the massive difference. So I hate to say this because I'm not a massive fan of Bournemouth because obviously the treatment of O'Neill, but I just can't see us beating them, to be honest. Might get a draw, but with their vocal point Solanke, because I think we're quite similar ability. They just have that one player up front who can kill us. Like if we had
what are you going for?
I would say 2-1, but I can't see where the goals are coming from, so I'm going to say 1 or 2-0. And then for Luton, you'd like to think it would be a win, wouldn't you? But the return of Rob Edwards, they're going to need the points. Everything's, it'd be classic Wolves to lose that game, wouldn't it? But we'll say positive. I've got to back us to get 1 win, so we'll say 2-1 Wolves for that one.
You don't sound that confident, if I'm honest, George.
It's one of them, how Wolves would it to be? Nothing left to play for. Rob Edwards returned to Molineux. They need the points. Here's Charity FC. We'll give you 3 points.
You're not wrong. Do you know what I mean? George, you predicted the win, but I don't think your heart's really in that, to be honest.
I've got to predict 1 win.
You've not convinced me anyway. Jack.
Sorry to disappoint.
Jack.
I think,
brilliant. I love you.
I think the Gary O'Neill derby will finish as a draw.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be 1-1. I can see them pinching a goal somewhere, and then we'll probably do likewise. And then the Rob Edwards derby is probably, like you say, is a battle of who's got the most available players. Really, they're decimated by injuries as well, aren't they? And they've lost back-to-back games 5-1. But we know from Wolves, don't we, when we play teams that have had a good hiding previously, we never follow it up, do we? So I mean, I could see it being a quite a tetchy, tight 1-0 Wolves win. Again, dependent on who's fit and available. So, but I think 4 points from 2 games would be a decent return. I think, and it would kind of give us a little bit of momentum at a time when we probably needed just a little bit to go into the summer. So yeah, I'm going to be positive and go for the 4 points.
So you're with George, 4 points. Lucas?
I think against Bournemouth, Wolves great for 1-0 win, and then against Luton, I think they'll score in the 90-something minute. A jammy goal to lose 1-0.
3 points from Lucas. Interesting. Crap internet.
Crap internet. Right. I'm going to listen. Bournemouth's going to be the difficult one out of the 2, isn't it? So I'm going to go for a draw against Bournemouth. Gary O'Neill, obviously, he'll have some inside knowledge on it, but I think with our squad at the minute, and that some of the players they've got, which George mentioned, so I'm going for a draw, that 1-1 draw. And Luton, I think we're going to be too strong for Luton. And I think they're in a bit of free fall now. I know they've got injuries, but a club going on that sort of run at this time of the season isn't good. So I'm going to go for 3 points there, 2-0 win to the Wolves.
2-0. So you're going for, is that 4 points as well?
It's 4 points, Dave. Unless it was 1963, then it would have been 3 points.
That's true, that is. 4 points as well. Cheerful?
Dave, I don't really care. I just want the season to finish.
That is the line of the night, that is. George
Yeah.
George just comes on this when you come in because he's just waiting for your line, mate, I tell you.
Look, I've said it to you some time ago, and everybody had a bit of a laugh at my expense, but I couldn't see us winning another game this season. I still can't see us winning another game. I think we're just too fatigued. We're too stretched. I don't think we're gonna. We might scrape a draw against Luton. We might scrape a draw against Bournemouth, but we could equally lose those games. I just can't see us winning. I can't see us going to score the goals. We're thinking Semedo might come in, but he's fatigued. He's knackered. So I just think let's just get to the end of the season. We've done well to stay up, and let's hope that we get what we need in the summer, because it's pretty dire watching at the moment.
So how many points are we going for? Did you have to give us a score prediction?
No.
Go on then.
I don't want to say we're going to lose both games, but I'll just say
Don't rush into it, Chris. Think about it.
I wish your internet would go wrong again. I'm going to go for 2-1 all draws.
2-1, so 2 points. And finally, Chelsea, because Chelsea, make sure you, first of all, before we go that, you have to subscribe to the channel just for Chelsea, because she's doing the Bournemouth watch along on Wednesday. She needs the love and support of all you guys. She's done 5 watch alongs now, and we ain't
later. I need gas and air.
You need gas. That's it. Gas and air, all of that. And she just, your company on the watch along really does just cheer her up, to be honest. And to be honest, she'll cheer. I know from a lot of you guys and gals that have been watching, it cheers you up watching Chelsea when things are bad, because she makes you laugh and stuff. And so so hit that subscribe button, put it on notification, because Chelsea will be there for Bournemouth. And I really hope we get this win against Bournemouth. But Chelsea, what's your predictions?
I think, knowing my luck, I'm gonna lose the Bournemouth game and they'll win the Luton one. But my heart says I think it'll be a 1-1, because I don't believe we can keep a clean sheet. So I'm gonna go 1-1 draw for Bournemouth, and I think we can nick a goal against Luton, because we're at home. I think we are due a win at some point, whether it's deserved or scraped. So 4 points.
4 points.
I hope I'm wrong.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, guys, listen, we've had so many of you watching live again, nearly 500 watching live. I know that, loads more will watch it back on catch up. It'll be out on the podcast as well. So you'll be able to listen to it when you're driving around. The producer will have that out in the morning, so you can listen to it back as well if you want to. It's been a great show. We've had a bit of fun. It is coming towards that end of the season sort of period. Things are difficult, but we have positives to take. We have positives that we've got more points than we had last year, 43. We could still get a few more. That's great. We're mathematically safe. Even if we lost every game 20-0, we're not going down. So we're safe. We've got a very thin squad, but we're seeing fight. They're not on the beach. They haven't got their flip-flops on or anything like that.
So already want the season to end.
Yeah, exactly. So they've been working hard and they've not given up. They're not down tools. That's positive. We've still got some fun away days. Wolves could still have an impact on the title running. I know we've got City and Liverpool away, but anything can happen.
Dave, if our players had their flip flops on, they'd be tripping over and stubbing their toe and getting injured. So we shouldn't let them wear them.
I completely agree. It would be bad to have for them to be wearing flip flops and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think they're on the beach. Basically, Gary O'Neill said in the press conferences he doesn't want to let them on that. We're getting to see some fringe players, academy kids, and they're getting some experience. We're getting to see some good things, some positive things. And the one thing that I'm hoping that the board are looking at, seeing all of this, because we are thin on the ground and everything, they got to be seen that, you know, they've got to invest and support Gary and make the right decisions in the summer, because it's there for everyone to see. So I'm going to take all them positives and hope that that's the case in the summer. We've still got plenty more to talk about for the rest of the season. But for now, we're done for tonight. Thank you to Chelsea, Lucas, Jack, George, Chris, and Crap Internet, the Lord himself, Jason, for joining us tonight. Love to you all wherever you're watching in the world. Keep the faith, keep believing that we might prove Chris wrong and get a win before the end of the season. I hope so, because that would that will turn his frown upside down. Although he has
to be a forfeit.
What Chris
Hey,
should have a forfeit.
just remember, I've given the most biggest score.
I was just about to say, Chris, you have actually given the highest rating tonight, 8-5.
Yes.
But George has got an idea. What you reckon Chris should have a forfeit if we win a game?
If we win a game, I think he should have a forfeit for the end of the season review.
Yeah, I think he should smile.
So maybe obviously keep to an extent, but could you agree to this, Chris? Whatever the top like comment says, you have to do it. Obviously, keep it PG. Because we don't want you losing your job or anything. But
I don't know where this is going.
That went down well.
Listen, guys, you've got 1 minute to put in the chat a forfeit for Chris in the chat, and then all of us six, the other 6 of us, will decide on what it is and ask Chris if he thinks.
Hey, I'm not wearing the fucking Rain Ain't Norrie shirt.
I can't believe you just won.
Listen, quickly before we end the show, put any. I'm going to go around and ask for final words for everyone, and then like we'll pick on. We'll decide. So, final words, George.
I just think keep backing the boys. You know, don't turn on O'Neill just because the results aren't in our favour, because he's having he's done incredibly. And I think some people are sort of criticising him. I think it's a bit unfair. That's the last thing I'd say. So just keep backing O'Neill, because we're not going to get anyone better than him.
Chris?
Look, I'm not going to do these forfeits because this man here, I was supposed to go and have a tattoo with, and unfortunately, I was that scared about having it. I decided to have a heart attack, so I didn't have to have it done. So I'll go to any length not to do a forfeit.
Have a tattoo. That's it.
Jason.
Yeah. Listen. Don't worry about the players that we're going to potentially lose at the end of the season. Worry about losing O'Neill.
Nice one, Lucas.
Just keep the faith and up the Brew Colts.
Yes, Lucas. We'll talk a bit more about that next Sunday, and I hope to come and see you and support you in that, mate, if we can get there. Jack?
I'll tell you what, talking about music, Crap Internet sounds like a great band. I'd love to go and see them live.
You know what? We should form a band called Crap Internet. Just that should be it, you know. And
Manny's the lead singer.
We'll do it, you know. That's a great band name, isn't it?
It's an amazing band name.
Yeah, but you can't download any of the music online, Dave.
Just sing Wolves chants and record them.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's something to be brewing here tonight. Chelsea.
We have 5 games left. We've done better than we thought we could this season. We had the opportunity to do amazing, have a miracle, but at least we nearly had that miracle. We've got 5 games left. Whether we lose and we're crying or we're happy and smiling, I will still be on this watch along suffering or being happy with you. So join us on the watch along. No matter where we go, we're still here.
Absolutely. Well, we've got the Bournemouth channel says you should be made to sing Silver Lining. Merva says wear a West Baggy shirt.
Won't happen. Not like Jason. Jason's already been pictured wearing one of them. You'll never see me wearing that in my life.
Yeah, well, Dan agrees with you. Said that's a disgusting suggestion. We'll have to think anyway, but it's a good laugh anyway, Chris. But hopefully we won't have to worry about it, because we'll hopefully win the game. Jason's internet finally has given up by the looks of it, because he's gone. So from all of us, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.